Hi friends, welcome to Make Fundamental series. In this series, I'm going to create sessions. Those are fundamental sessions. They're very important to understand the Make building blocks. So in this session, I'm going to discuss about the apps and modules. So these apps and modules are up as part of scenarios. The topmost component in the Make is called scenarios. The scenario is sequence of the modules, right, is equal to workflow in other apps. So in Make we have some kind of terminology. The workflow is equal to scenario, right? And let's dive in. We see what is the app and what is the module inside the scenario, what are different kinds of modules available inside the scenario. Friends, if you see this diagram is called this workflow diagram. In Make we call as a scenario, right? In the scenario, if you see what happened, the first component, we call it the Google Sheet search rows. This component is belongs to app Google Sheet. This belongs to app Google Sheet. App is equal to application. It might be Google Sheet, it might be Google Map, Google Docs, Gmail, or Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. These are all called apps. Okay. Inside that app, whatever operation you are performing, that is equal to module. If you see here, the Google Sheet is an app and the module is a search rows. So we're searching rows inside the Google Sheet. So Google Sheet is an app, whereas search rows is a module. The last one, if you see, Google Sheet is an app, update row is a module. In between, the weather is an app and get current weather module. Okay. Now, what are different kinds of modules available? So there are three kinds of modules predominantly: search modules, action modules, and trigger modules. Okay, such modules, they will return a bunch of records. It will search, it will retrieve all the records, list of records. So those kind of modules we call as search modules. And sometimes we can apply some kind of filter on the records so that we will get whatever records we want. We can filter the records. Okay, that's second story. But such module returns a set of records from the app. Okay, now if you see here, the first one is called search module. What happens is it's searching rows in the Google Sheet. In the search module, in this module, I given the Google Sheet name and the Google Sheet document name and sheet name, so that is able to retrieve all the records in the from the Google Sheet. Okay, all the records from Google Sheet, and it handovers all those records to the next module, right? So here I count the 13 records. The 13 records will flow to the next module. The the data of this entire search rows, that data we call as a bundle. So whatever data that is moving module to module, we call as a bundle. And here on the data, whatever number of executions we are performing, that we call it as an operation. So here if you see small round over here, it is one inside here, right? This one indicates that in one operation, on one execution of such rows, I got 13 records. Okay, so only one time it go to the Google Sheet and get all the 13 records. Now on the weather module, what I am doing is, for on each city I'm getting current weather. On New Delhi, on Hyderabad and Bangalore and Mumbai, on each city I'm getting the current weather on that city. I'm passing that city and getting the weather. I'm passing the city, getting weather. This weather module, the input required for this weather module is the city name. So I'm giving the city name and getting the current weather. I'm giving the Hyderabad and getting current weather, right? So therefore, if you see over here, there is 13 number is there, right? So this indicates that this module executed 13 times. This module executed 13 times. And 13 bundles will went over here, and here this module also executed 13 times. It's updating row. It updates the temperature of that specific city from the weather module, the output of weather module. Okay. So yeah, now coming to, there are three types of module available: the search module, action module, and the trigger module. In the action module, again, there are four kinds of the operations available in the action module. Those are, in the action means we need to doing some action, right? Performing some action. So that action is like creating a record, and getting a specific record, or modifying or update, modify or update. And fourth one is a delete. Some we call it the CRUD operation, right? CURUD, delete. So these are different kinds of action modules. Like in the Google Sheet, if you want to create a new row, then create a row module we need to take. This is one kind of action module. Sometimes we need the row ID and we need to retrieve that specific row, right? For that, we need to get the get module. We want to get that specific record by passing some input, right? And we need to update or modify a record we call as an update module. If you see the third one, we are updating the temperature of Delhi, Hyderabad, Bangalore, right? So here each time we are executing an update operation on each and every record, right? That is called update action module. This is an search module because we are searching from the Google Sheet. This is an action module. You're taking action, right? Okay. This is also an action module. Getting a record is getting record from the weather app, right? This is also action module. In this scenario, in this workflow scenario, there is first one is search module and next two are action modules, right? Now, this action, uh, okay, is kind of operation we are performing on the app. And finally, the trigger module. Trigger module, there are two types of triggers available. One is a polling trigger and instant trigger. Polling trigger and instant trigger. So polling trigger is like, for every a specific interval of time, this polling trigger triggers and scenario gets activated. Okay. So if you see the first component, there is some kind of watch symbol available, right? So this indicates this is a polling one. Okay. So every we some specific interval of time, this module got triggered and workflow initiated, workflow will get executed. So this is called a polling trigger, polling, trigger. So in case of polling, we need to set a specific time interval so that on the time interval, every time that module got auto triggered without any manual intervention. That is called polling trigger. And instant trigger is based on some event. Whenever I receive a new email, I want to execute a scenario. So receiving a email is called an event. Okay, that is called instant module, instant trigger, right? Or else updating a Google Sheet row, I want to trigger something, that is called instant trigger. So based on the event, we are triggering some workflow, some scenario, that is called instant trigger. Based on the time interval, if you are executing a workflow, a scenario, that is called an polling trigger, right? Now we are comfortable with all the terminology. The app is the application, the Google Sheet, Google Map, Gmail, Facebook, Facebook, that are called apps. And the operation we are performing inside that app we call as a module. So here three modules, three different modules. And the data which is moving from module to module we call as a bundle. That bundle will move module to module, and whatever the execution we are performing on that module we call an operation. 13 operations are there, 13 operations are there. Each execution we called as an operation. And the trigger module is to trigger the workflow. There are two kinds of trigger modules. One is the instant trigger and polling trigger. Polling trigger, it trigger in a specific time interval. 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, a week, like, and it runs every time interval without any manual intervention. That is polling trigger. Instant trigger is based on some event. Whenever an event occurs, the trigger card instantly fired and the scenario will get executed, right? So this is about the module section. And let me run a small application in the module. Here I'm going to make, and in the make, let me go to the scenarios. I'm creating a scenario, very simple scenario, like whatever scenario I showcased over here, and I'm getting the Google Sheet. Google Sheet. I'm executing the search rows, right? So now search rows is a scenario over here. I need to connect. I'm connecting to my Gmail ID, right? So in the Gmail, I'm selecting my drive. I need to give the sheet ID. The sheet ID is, I have the weather update sheet. I want to show that sheet also. This is my weather update sheet. Initially it is empty. There are no temperature information. I want to update the temperature information getting data from the weather application. So therefore initially it is empty, right? So now my make is pulling this sheet and searching the sheet and getting all the records. Okay, so for that I configure the search rows, and the sheet name is the sheet one. If you see over here, this is the weather update, is a document name, and this sheet name, sheet one is sheet name, right? I'm giving a sheet name over here, and I'm not specifying any kind of filters. I'm saving just okay, save. All right, and now if I run this scenario, right, the value must not be empty. Let me check what is that even. Let me save this one. So we got RAM and we got all the see bundle. If you see this output, right, the bundle one, bundle two, bundle three means each record is in a bundle. See, we have the bundle one is New Delhi, bundle 13 is Warangal, right? If you see over here, the Google Sheet, New Delhi and Warangal, each that is such 13 records. So the bundles, 13 bundles I got from the Google Sheet. All right. So now second I'm passing the 13 bundles to weather application. Click on the add another module and search for weather, get current weather. Inside the weather, I'm this kind of this module I record, get current weather. I need to pass the city, right? So that city is available in the from the Google Sheet. If I click on over here, now I want city. So this city drag and put over here. That's it. Okay. And save it. I not save it. And third one is I want to update the Google Sheet, right? Press over here. Again, I'm going to Google Sheet. This time updating a row. Okay. And the sheet ID I'm giving the same like the old one. Weather updates. The sheet name is sheet one. And this is a row number. Row number, what I'm doing is which row I need to update. If you see the Google Sheet, so this every row has this number. This to second row, this is third row, fourth row, right? So this row, what I need to give the row number, which row I need to update. So here what I am doing is um, simply the row number. I'm this row number I'm putting over here. Yeah, that's it. And the temperature, I want to update temperature, right? Temperature is not there. So that temperature I am placing over here, right? And the cities and the country, right? So from this sheet, I'm populating cities and country, but temperature I'm populating from here, from the map, from the weather, right? So now save it. Now I want to run this scenario or run once. I'm getting all the Google Sheets, and it's updating, it getting the weather information from the weather app and updating the Google Sheet. Let me go back to see, got all the temperatures got updated, right? So if you see this demo, 13 operations got executed on the weather app and 13 operations execute on the row, update the row app, whereas only one operation execute the Google Sheets, right? So this is the one demo to understand the modules, bundles, operations, and scenarios. What kind of the modules have different kinds of modules like trigger module, action module, right? So uh, please practice this example from yourself so that you will get confident. Practice the example and go through the video and make notes. Okay? I see you in the next session on one more topic on the make basics.